Hello everyone and welcome back to School World Gaps. This is the second episode of the series Periodic Table, and in this episode we'll be learning about pure substances. What are pure substances? Pure substances are substances that are made up of only one kind of particle and has a fixed or constant structure. So if we have a pure substance, it is one thing. It does not have two or more things mixed into it, or it cannot be separated easily. And some very common examples of pure substances that you might come across in your daily life are tin, sulfur, diamond, pure sugar, which is also known as sucrose, table salt, which is known as sodium chloride in science, and baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. So now we have pure substances. Obviously they are divided into two parts: elements and compounds. Elements are further down divided into metals, non-metals, and metalloids, which you will find in the periodic table. So now an element. An element is a substance that cannot be broken down into any other substance. It has one atom which cannot be broken down anyhow. Every atom is made up its own type of element. This is why the chemical elements are all very different from each other. We have 118 elements in the periodic table, and each one is different from another, and they are not at all alike each other. They all have their own properties, their own chemical formulas and everything. Everything in the universe contains the atoms of at least one or more elements. For example, if we take water, that is H2O, which has two atoms of hydrogen to one atom of oxygen. The same, like all the substances that are made around us are all made up of atoms, one or more elements or atoms. The periodic table lists all the known atoms and groups together those with similar properties. So similar properties, what we'll be doing it in it, like how will we be dividing them, that is in metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Now let us see what are metals, non-metals, and metalloids. First let's see about metals. Metals have their own properties, and they are all different from non-metals. Metals are shiny, they are malleable, they are ductile, good conductors of thermal and electrical energy, and have reactivity. So what does this exactly mean? When we see a fleshy cut rod of iron, you can see that it shines back, it reflects light. And then malleable and ductile means we are able to bend them or turn them into any shape that we want to. Good conductors of thermal and electrical energy. Obviously that is why we use metals for cooking. We use them for wires and electrical wires and everything. They are made of metals. We use copper and iron very commonly in that, and they have reactivity. They are highly reactive. Not all of them, but most of them. Now we'll be seeing non-metals. After seeing non-metals, then we'll go to metalloids. Non-metals are dull, as we saw. If you see water does not shine. Water is a non-metal. Or water, if we take carbon, then carbon also does not shine. They are brittle. When we are easily able to break them. They are hard, not malleable, not ductile. So we are not able to bend them into any shape that we want. Poor conductors of thermal and electrical energy. If we take carbon, we take hydrogen, we take sulfur. They are all very poor conductors of thermal and electrical energy. Some of them are reactive, some of them are not. And also another thing is that metals are mostly in gaseous form at room temperature, whereas metals are solid at room temperature except mercury. Now let's talk about metalloids. What are metalloids? They share some properties of metals and some of non-metals. They cannot be categorized into one. So we have a whole category that have common properties of both of them. Some are shiny while some are dull. Some are malleable, some are not. Some are ductile, some are not. Semiconductors of electric energy. So we are not they are not good or they are not poor. They are in middle. Let's talk about compounds. Compound is a substance that contains two or more elements that are chemically combined. That is the main difference between compound and mixtures. That are if we have a compound, they are chemically combined. If we take carbon dioxide, so what do we have is that one molecule, one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen. That is how carbon dioxide is made. the elements in a compound are present in fixed proportions. Obviously, like if we have a compound and the elements, for example, if we take MgO, then MgO means magnesium oxide, and the elements here are magnesium and oxygen, obviously. And oxide means one atom of oxygen and one atom of magnesium, so they both have one atoms. And if if there is only one atom of magnesium and one atom of oxygen, then only we can call it magnesium oxide. The same way if we talk about water, H2O, two compounds of hydrogen and one compound of oxygen, that is how we get water. A chemical formula can be used to represent a compound. The formula shows symbols for each element in the compound. So we have an element, like symbols for each of the, like for sulfur we have Su, for potassium we have K, that way. The number of atoms in each element in a unit of in a unit of the compound. Examples, as I already explained you, that are magnesium oxide and carbon dioxide. Thank you very much for watching School World Gaps. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.